Hey, ad shooter and Klay Thompson said there are no shortcuts to winning a championship. How well has your team done keeping tunnel vision for each step of the way?
It's been a good few weeks, so far. I mean, we were not playing well coming into the playoffs, but turned our defense around immediately against San Antonio, and this has been a really good effort to this point against a really good team in New Orleans. So, very pleased with where we are, but we got to keep going.
Steve, a couple days ago, Alvin Gentry compared Anthony Davis to Tim Duncan. You have obviously played with Tim, you know him. Do you see the similarities?
I know what Tim would say. Tim would say he jumps way higher than I ever did. Anthony's much more athletic than Tim was. But I see the similarities in the demeanor. Timmy's one of the all-time greats, obviously. Top 10 player of all time, no matter how you slice it. And Anthony's kind of just entering his prime now, so he's got a ways to go to reach Tim's stratosphere. But I think I understand what Alvin's talking about. He's a tremendous talent, and you can just see how grounded he is, how much fun he would be to play with, what a good teammate he is. I don't know him very well, but yeah, he's one of those guys who jumps out at you like, yeah, he's got it.
Steve, obviously matchups and Steph being out affects this, but you guys have shot about 33% more mid-range shots this year than last playoffs. Is that a strategy with defenses taking away the perimeter and the paint and feeling like there's maybe a market advantage there, or is that just KD?
I called Daryl Morey and asked him what we should do, and he said more mid-range shots would be good. No, it's just a function of how our team is built. We have fewer three-point shooters now, I think, than we've had in the last few years. I think it's also a function of how teams play us. Our mantra is always get a great shot no matter what it looks like, whether it's a 2 or a 3. We happen to have some of the best mid-range shooters in the world, and people routinely run Steph and Klay and KD off the three-point line. So their ability to step in, take 1 or 2 dribbles and pull up is a huge weapon for us.
Coach Kerr, how hard is it, to approach these closeout games, especially when a team is on the brink of elimination?
It's not any harder than any other aspect of the playoffs. It's I think what you get used to in the NBA as you go through the playoffs is there's sort of a unique feel to each game. The opening game of a series has a very different feel than the closeout game. There's sort of different games within a series that take on a different meaning, a different pattern. And so there's a different vibe for sure, and we've got this thing right where we want it. This is always what you want when you're the home team: win the first 2 and get a split. So it's right where we want it, but we know how hard it is. Spurs came in here and took us right down to the wire last series in the same situation, and I expect New Orleans to bring a similar effort.
Steve, over here. You've said that you don't worry so much about Steph's knee or ankle or anything like that, that you're basically monitoring his endurance, his fatigue level. Do you imagine a time when you'll get back to the full first quarter with Steph, or is that just not part of the rotation the way things are being played right now?
Yeah, it's gonna be game to game, but I'm feeling more and more comfortable playing him longer minutes. We purposely left him out there last game when the game was decided just to get him another couple minutes and a couple more shots just to get that rhythm. So I think he's really making strides, and he told me the same thing this morning. He just said he feels good. He said he has no pain in his knee, which is great, but the rest of his body has to catch up to the workload and to the grind of NBA playoff games, and so he's getting there.
You said the other day that he gets pissed off every time you take him out, pretty much. Has it been more lively when you've been taking him out? This time, you're getting him, taking him out in the middle of the first quarter, taking him out when he's not used to coming out.
Yeah, the other night I took him out. I was going to take him out at about the 3.5, 4-minute mark of the first quarter, and Quinn started to come in for him, and Steph gave me this look, and I said, "Quinn, come back, come back. Let's not make Steph mad." So we just gave him one more play, and then he turned it over, and I put Quinn in. So.
Coach, yesterday in the conference call, Alvin Gentry said that Kevin Durant set the tone for you guys on defense in Game 4. How important is it for you guys, for him to stay aggressive?
It's huge. Kevin changes the entire game for us with his defense when he's engaged and locked in. Very first possession of the game the other night, he denied the wing and kind of blew up the play that the Pelicans were going to run, and it set a good tone, just like his shot at the other end to start the game set a tone. And Kevin has a different gear that he can get to defensively, and when he gets there, it's devastating.
After Game 3, there was the story that Draymond sent a 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. text to KD to make sure he was ready to go. Have you sent any late night texts to anybody to make sure that that it all gets closed out tonight?
No, I dial people on my rotary phone. Nobody seems to answer, though. No, nobody answers a home line anymore. So.
Hey, Steve,
No text necessary. Our guys know exactly what's at stake. You know, we need to take care of business. You know, we have a great opportunity here tonight. You don't mess around when you get to this point.
Steve, just curious about Andre Iguodala, who's obviously on the far side of his career, but he still looks, when he's out there, as good as ever. What is it about him in big games? He always has come up with clutch performances for you guys the last several years. What is it about him?
I think, well, first of all, that's just kind of who he is. He's a tremendous player. I mean, he's probably a future Hall of Famer. Finals MVP, All-Star, Olympian. Really not anything else you can do in this sport. So Andre is a great player, but I think what's happened over the last few years is that he's almost taken on like a Manu Ginobili role for us, you know, where he understood he was at the point of his career where maybe cutting back his minutes was important for him, but also coming off the bench was important for us because he solidifies our second unit and kind of a Swiss Army knife for us. You know, he play 4 different positions actually. Plays a lot of power forward for us now in this era. So it's great to coach Andre because he's not only a gifted player but just a great team guy. Just wants to win, doesn't care about numbers, and he's been brilliant in this postseason.